Hello, hello, and good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday, and you know what that means. It is Wonder Series Wednesday. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Denise Siegel. I'm the CEO curator at Living Healthy List, your host of the Wonder Series. Our goal here is to help you to look at your life from a different perspective. Maybe think differently, act differently. Who knows how that can affect your life in a very positive way. Additionally, learning something new. It's amazing how when we learn something new and we can incorporate that into our everyday life, how life changes and it grows and it expands. So that's what we're here to do. And our guest today is my friend, Erin Dietz. Erin is the owner of BodyWise Massage. She's been a massage therapist for as long as I've known her, but she's also an herbalist. And this is what we really want to talk about today. So I'm really excited about this conversation. Erin grew up right here in rural Minnesota on, get this, everyone, an organic produce farm. How cool is that? If we could all grow up on an organic produce farm, we would all be in that healthy, happy life, like from the get-go. She has 2 kiddos and grown-up kiddos, and a longtime boyfriend who has 3 more. She founded BodyWise in 2011. So I guess that's when you and I met, was around then. And it's just been in the last few years, right, that you're studying herbalism. Herbalism, yes. I love that. It sounds so official.
Right.
So sum it up for me, Erin. Tell us, who you are, not just, your a quick bio. Tell us who you are, what's your day like, and how do you work with your clients? Obviously as a massage therapist, that's a big part of what you do, but then incorporating the herbals. And let's talk about herbals too then.
Yes, absolutely. So I've been doing massage for a while, and I think getting more into the massage, it really, you really get more involved with a person when you work a long time with them in massage. So you just get more connected with whole health, and you want to be able to help them in many different ways. And this includes mind, body, spirit, and just the simplicity. I'll say the simplicity of herbalism. It's complex, but it's simple to use. Became kind of an easy thing for me to be able to help my clients incorporate into their own health and their own life. And when they come to me, they're coming with physical ailments, usually sore muscles, body aches, things like that. And that can be helped with herbalism. And then it gets you into this whole realm of whole health. So it can be colds and flus. It can be, anxiety, depression. It can be the physical ailments, which are all really tied together. So that's why I've gotten into the herbalism. And just getting, I've only been doing it for a few years, and I really don't feel much like an expert because there's so much to learn. But with there is so much to learn, but it doesn't take that much. You can get really deep into it. But what I'm here to share today is some of the simple things that we can do, that we can just go to the grocery store and grab things there, or we can get a little bit more deeper into it and order things online, or even wildcraft them from your own backyard.
Ooh, that sounds interesting. So let's backtrack a minute and let's define your definition of herbalism. What I'm kind of like, I say it and I kind of get this different, I kind of get this one thought in my head. I know what we're talking about, but I want to make sure that with our listeners that we're clear. Like, what is herbalism?
Herbalism is using plants and herbs to fuel our body. Not only fuel it, to help heal our body, and to really feed it what we need.
So really, it's an extension of, what I say, eat real food, your veggies and your fruits. And in the cooking world, herbs are such a big part of making a dish. But I think most people think of herbs as, literally something you just kind of add on top of a dish, or, you add to a salad dressing.
Right.
So we're talking
Great
about
thing
something a
is
little
those
more in depth.
culinary herbs. Yeah, the great thing is that those culinary herbs, actually, a lot of them have many health benefits that we don't even know. A lot of them that we use on a regular basis, cayenne, cinnamon, those are really actually helping our digestive system digest the foods that we put them on. And we don't even know it. We put them there for flavor. So it's kind of a double bonus.
Oh, I love it. Love it. I love it. Love it. So what about like when you're working with your clients, and now incorporating the, the herbs, what are some of the first things that you do, that you recommend with a client?
Well, my favorite avenue to use the herbs in is teas,
Mm.
because it's so easy. It's something you can do. Yeah, it's something you can do on your own. It's something that it's easy to go to the store and get. And it's just comforting. So a lot of the times we'll start with teas. Now we can get a little bit more into depth. It can be depending on what the ailment. It can be a salve, it can be an oil, it can be a tonic, a syrup. I know over the last few years, elderberry syrup has become a really big thing for our immune system. That's herbalism, using elderberries. So typically I like to start with a tea, but usually when I give a client a tea, or when I share a tea with them, I'm going to share other health, other things that they can do to help their body. So there's a lot of, the way that they're going to eat while they're drinking the tea. It's a whole program. So there's exercise involved, there's diet involved, there's stress management involved, because we know that it's all connected. So just like massage is one aspect of healing, the herbs are one aspect of healing. And unless we give our body the right environment to be able to let those herbs soothe or ease or heal, it's not going to work to its highest potential.
That's such a good point. When we hear the word, holistic health, and sometimes people kind of think, oh, that's so, kind of like in the woo-woo world. But holistic health essentially means looking at your whole body and doing all the things that you just mentioned, the eating right and exercising, stress management. That's holistic health. Obviously there are different pieces that we bring in, like you said, you bring in massage to your clients, and now with the teas. What are some of the easiest, most accessible teas that people can use, and what are their benefits? So let's talk maybe 3 of the top teas that you like.
Okay. So I'm going to talk. So I would say let's say 3 different teas that people are going to be most comfortable with, or are going to know what they are. So chamomile is a big one, right? Most people know what chamomile is. There's peppermint. Peppermint is a big one. Let's say lavender. Lavender is another big one. So, but each of those, so you go into the store and there's boxes, excuse me, there's boxes of these teas, which I'm going to say they are the easiest, and I use them myself. So boxes with the single serve bags that we'll put in there, they're going to be the easiest to use. Not if you have access to loose leaf tea, the pieces of the leaves and the roots and the flowers and whatever is used are going to be a little bit bigger, so they're going to hold up better. You're actually going to get more health benefits if you get a loose leaf versus the bags. But the bags are easy. Most people have the most access to the bag tea, and that's just fine. Most of the brands are going to be pretty good. We all know, like yogi tea, traditional medicinal, I think is traditional medicine. That's another one. Those they're good. They're very good. I'm going to say though that they're not going to have the shelf life of like a loose leaf tea, because they're broken down, more oxygen can get to them. So they lose their constituents a little bit quicker. So but these teas, so if you go in and you buy a peppermint tea, now there's going to be different loose leaf versus the bags. But if you look on the ingredients of a loose leaf or of a bagged tea, it's going to have more than just peppermint. It's going to have different things in there because the herbs work together. So when they put these teas in the bags, when you buy a bag of like a sleepy time tea or a energizing tea or a digestion tea, they're specifically formulated to be able to help each other. So there's going to be your main tea. So say it's peppermint. There's going to be soothing plants in there because a lot of times our system needs a little bit of soothing as well. And then there's typically going to be a stimulant in there. And what that stimulant does is to help circulation. It's going to help stimulate the body so that it can use that. So even when we're buying those single teas, there's often a formula. It's going to be more than just the licorice, the lavender, the whatever. And that formulation is very important. So let's say peppermint. So peppermint we often will use for digestion. So a lot of people will drink it after. It's an old tradition to drink peppermint tea after because it will help your body digest. But peppermint is also good for headaches. It's good for body aches. All of these herbs have just a little bit, they have more, you're getting more than what you are.
So kind of like you're getting an extra bang
and then
for
the
your buck.
chamomile. You are, yes. So drinking them, the more you drink them, the more it's going to be able to tone your organs. And there's a lot of, in herbalism, we focus on different organs. So the liver is a big one because it does so many different things. And we really tax our liver because we have so many toxins in our environment. And the liver's job is to cipher out those toxins, to clean the blood. So in herbalism, a lot of times we will maybe even start with the liver. If we're looking at reproductive organs, we're going to start by looking at the liver. Oftentimes, if we are working with the reproductive system, we will incorporate some liver cleansing and toning in there as well. So chamomile was another one that I had mentioned, and a lot of people drink chamomile before they go to bed. The great thing about chamomile, chamomile almost feels like a cliche. So when you get into herbalism, you're like, oh, chamomile, St. John's wort, everybody uses those. Those are kind of mainstream. They're a little bit hyped up, but actually they are everything. They're everything that the hype makes them up to be. So chamomile is also an anti-inflammatory. Who doesn't need help with inflammation?
No kidding.
With our environment, we are inducing inflammation quite often. So incorporating something like a cup of chamomile tea before bed not only helps you sleep at night, it also helps with that inflammation. Side note, it also works as a diuretic. Up in the middle of the night to use the restroom if you drink your chamomile tea right before bed. So, and anti-fever. So drinking a chamomile tea, when you have a fever, you want to reduce your fever. Now, maybe you have a fever and you want to, it's not a high fever, but our body creates the warmth, creates the fever to try to get rid of the toxins. So wrap us up in a blanket and sweat out instead of giving us an anti-fever.
Erin, can you do me a favor? Can you repeat that for a quick second? Because you got pixelated there for a second, but that's really important what you just said.
Okay, am I okay now?
Yes. Just that last bit.
Okay. So with the fever, my grandma used to say, something to keep her awake, she would wrap a blanket and put it in a warm room so that we could sweat out. That was a way of getting rid of toxins. So maybe that's what you want to.
We'll just wait for Erin to come on back and we will have to edit this piece out. We'll just keep recording because this way we could just edit it out. This is why we don't do this live anymore. The internet is so crazy. I'm talking to myself. And I'm actually talking to you too because you're going to edit this for me.
Am I back?
You're back. This is actually why I don't do these live anymore, because the internet is always so wonky that this way my assistant can take the video, cut it, edit it, you know, do all that nonsense.
That's so great.
Yeah, for a long time, I
can't
actually,
see you.
you can't see me. I can't see you either. Let's see. Where's your video? My video's on. Why is your video not on? You're still on your phone, right? What is it? I'm trying to think. It's different on the phone. Oop, I lost you again. Got some funky hair today.
Can you see me yet?
No.
I still see you. I'm sure it's my hand.
Yeah, I don't know. It's always weird. I'm trying to see, what does it look like when I'm on my phone? I don't do Zoom on my phone very often. Occasionally I do, but I know it's always weird to try to figure it out.
On a computer.
What's that?
So I'm on a computer, but I am on my computer.
You're actually really pixelated right now, like your voice. Whoops. Oops. 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 I see your name, but I don't see you.
Okay, I'm gonna try. So I stopped the video
Mm-hmm.
and then turned it back on.
Okay, I see you now.
Do you?
Yeah, I see you now.
Okay. I still don't see you, but
You don't
as
see
long
me?
as your computer has it and you can record it.
Yeah, no, I'm recording. So I do think because when you're on the phone, sometimes the pixelation is weird, but now you said you're on your computer, right? Yeah, because your picture is pixelated. But again, we'll just record this and then I lost her again.
Hello?
Okay, I can hear you.
Well, that's a start.
Yep. Seeing is
Gotcha.
believing. Okay, no, again, we'll do what we can.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's see. Kind of lost what I was on.
We were talking about, so the last thing we were talking about was the liver. Whoops. Okay, I see your name again, so you're here.
I'm here. I keep doing this. Oh, now I see you.
Cool, I see you too.
Awesome.
Cool. So what we were talking about, the liver, how with herbalism, you kind of start with the liver, how liver detoxes. So kind of let's start from there, and we can, kind of cut and paste.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. So, yes, with herbalism, a lot of times we will start with looking at the liver just because we tax it so much. And even if we're going to focus on a different system like the urinary tract or the reproductive system, a lot of times we will incorporate something with the liver in there. And the great thing is a lot of the herbs, a lot of the teas, not a lot of them, a good handful of the teas that are good for the liver are also really good for the urinary tract, the bladder, and those types of things as well. So a lot of these, I guess to kind of sum that all up, a lot of the teas that we're looking for in the store for specific, to help with anxiety or stress, or maybe it's a digestion one, you're getting a lot of added benefits in there as well.
That makes a lot of sense, because it all is kind of connected. We were saying earlier, how holistic, like your body, it works together, like all of the organs function in a certain way, and they all work together. So that does make a lot of sense. So let's talk about something, these are teas that, things that people have been using for a long time. And before we started recording, I was telling you that when I was recently at the doctor, she had said, add honey to your tea. It'll be great for, to help your cough. So what are some of the things that you've come across in studying herbalism that you kind of went, well, shoot, I knew that. My mom told me that, or my mother told me that.
Right. And I think, growing up on an organic produce farm with my parents, a little bit more connected with that whole realm of culinary, of nutrition and health. I think a lot of them have come back around, even just being out on the farm. My dad would tell me if I've got a bee sting, he would go pick a weed, he'd crumple it up in his fingers and be like, here, put this on, and it pulls it out. So it's interesting now as I'm studying and learning things like, jewelweed or plantain, which are weeds in our yard and just out in the wooded areas. So now we sometimes learn those things, but then to now study it and to actually learn why and to read, all the constituents is just that each plant has is actually very interesting. My favorite one, somebody just said to me the other day, because we were talking about the liver in a massage, we were talking about the liver and cleansing and all of that. And she said, so what is, because I said in their backyard, there's at least 3 different weeds out there that are actually really good for your liver that you could put in a salad even instead of just putting, in a tea. And so she asked me what, and I said, my favorite one is a dandelion. The flower, the leaves, the root. The root is very powerful because that's where a lot of the minerals and everything are stored in a plant, is in the root.
Right.
So oftentimes the root is going to have the highest density of those minerals. But the dandelion is my favorite. So oftentimes now you want to make sure that you're not picking it from a yard that's been fertilized or treated, because then, you're going to have that. But you could walk out anywhere and pick some dandelion weeds, put them in a salad or dry them and put them in a tea. They're a little bit bitter, but the thing about, so that bitterness is actually helps with digestion as well. But it's good for the liver. It's good for the urinary tract. It's kind of an all over body tonic. So we have this power weed growing in our yard that we spray to get rid of.
And it's funny because here in Minnesota, we get like mango sized dandelions here. I'd never seen a dandelion so big until I moved here. And each year I'm like, wowed, because they seem to get bigger and bigger.
Yes. And so that one's probably my favorite. If anyone grown up in the country, they'll know what burdock is. You walk through the woods and you get these little sticky balls that like stick to your clothes or to your dog if you're taking your dog out. Well, that burdock plant is very powerful. The root in there is a very good liver tonic. And they get huge. They get really big. So, and if you buy a tea, or I know there's a lot of powders and everything out there too. The coffee replacements have become really big, or like a mushroom tea.
Right.
A lot of times those liver cleansing ones are actually going to have burdock root in them.
Interesting. Burdock. The burdock is interesting because so here, I would love to have you come here and like walk through my prairie weeds. So we have, I would say half of my property is prairie grass.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes I still think of them as the prairie weeds because they're gigantic, but I don't know, like, I wouldn't know what is a true plant or what is a weed. Or, are they both beneficial? Should we keep them all here in the yard? So it'd be interesting to really go through and look through to see what we have here and what can be incorporated into a tea. But like, as you mentioned a second ago, you can also include them into a salad. And so there's that culinary piece that, that we talked about very early on that you're bringing back, which I love.
Right. And so it's one of my favorite things now. I've always liked hiking and walking, but now to be able to go out and to be able to point them out, and it's so fun, and it's really opened, the study of herbalism has really opened my eyes, because there's not a single weed or plant or whatever out there that does not have a purpose of some sort. So there is things that we've been pulling out of our garden, which sometimes has to happen.
Some of them take over.
So they don't take over. They have the health benefits. It's opened my eyes so much more and given so much more purpose. I wanted to mention something, Denise. I don't know if you knew this, but this is something I just recently learned. So tradition, when we have our coursed meal, a lot of times it'll start with a salad, right? So now it's like romaine or iceberg or maybe a spring mix or something, but more sweet lettuces that we use. So originally, we're talking about the bitter before, and bitter flavors help with digestion. So I just learned that originally that salad actually had a purpose. So it was something more like a mustard green or an arugula, something with the bitter flavor. And
Sure.
what that bitterness does, and it just actually takes 1 or 2 bites to do it. But once something with the when we taste that bitter in our mouth, it starts our whole digestive system, so we can actually digest things better. So there was actually a purpose for the salad before the main course.
Interesting. So it's funny because I was thinking when we were talking about digestion, if you go to an Indian restaurant, they always have like the bowl of, and I can't remember if it's fennel seeds or cardamom. There's one of them for that same purpose. It's
Yes,
for the
exactly.
digestion. And
Mm-hmm.
I would think most of us in this day and age have some challenges with digestion. As you
Absolutely.
mentioned earlier, the toxins that are, just in our environment. We have busy lifestyles. A lot of us eat on the run. A lot of people eat on the run. So these are all simple things that people can incorporate to, life is going to be busy. Life is going to still be crazy, but these are easy things to add in to benefit that, these pieces of our lives, the digestion, the colds, the cough, whatever it might be, the sleep. I love all of these simple ideas, and I love the fact that they're not new. They're just kind of new to us, maybe.
Right. Yes. We've just, we almost live in a society of amnesia, and we kind of forget. Um, we forget all these simple things, we were talking about before too, things get so complicated and complex, and to really go back to what's simple, it actually works. And it can reduce the stress a little bit more by not complicating things that don't need to be complicated.
Yeah. So say somebody comes to you and they feel pretty healthy, life is good. What are some of the teas that are just that just help people maintain and enhance? We're not necessarily looking to fix something, but just to kind
Right.
of enhance and keep people moving in a very positive direction.
Right. So there's just to keep kind of on, an even keel. And that's the thing. You can feel good, but you still want to be able, just like, you might be fit, but exercise is still a good idea, because you kind of want to
Exactly.
keep it going. It's kind of the same with, nutrition or that kind of things, those kind of things. So with the herbalism, so it's not even just, the green plants that we're thinking of, but it's also different things like mushrooms. Like, I don't know if you are familiar with ashwagandha.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so that's something that I put in my smoothies every morning, because it kind of just keeps me on an even keel. So, well, keeps my body on an even keel, keeps my brain on an even keel. But just because we're feeling good does not mean that we shouldn't be still helping our organs
Absolutely.
and our brain. So like ashwagandha is a really good one. Pretty much, I'm trying to think of like some of the teas that, like, so let's say echinacea. Echinacea is another one that most people are familiar
Mhm.
with. Now, a lot of people will start taking echinacea if they're feeling ill.
That's right.
Um,
Mhm.
but that it's actually a tonic for the whole body. So taking these tonics, dandelion, like we were talking about before, is a tonic. Echinacea, those are two that if you even just drinking the tea will help tone your immune system, so that when something does come up, you're ready for it. Even that elderberry, that's another one too. A lot of people will take when they start feeling ill, but it's a good thing to take on a regular basis just to keep that immune system up, to keep your body strong. You want to keep that circulation. So continuing to use the culinary things like the, cayenne peppers, actually any like little bit of spice or warming, is really good for the whole system.
Mhm.
Um, Licorice, real licorice, not like Twizzlers licorice, like a licorice root is another, that's a really good tonic for our digestive system and even for our nerves. Um, ginger, garlic, a lot of those. If you think flavor, what we flavor our food with, most of those are going to be good tonics
Sure.
for our bodies. So it's not even just the teas, even though that's my, favorite avenue to use. Putting them in salads, arugulas, mustard greens. They have so many of those vitamin and minerals as well that we might be missing from our daily diet.
So essentially what I'm taking from this is truly when it comes to herbalism really, it's not something you do when you're sick. It's not something you do when you have a problem. It's something to literally incorporate into your daily health and wellness routine, kind of alongside or in conjunction with your healthy diet.
Absolutely. So herbalism is not here to replace medicine. There is a place for medicine. Herbalism ideally is used as prevention, just like nutrition and exercise should also be used as prevention. But it can be a very powerful healing when things like that do come up. But yeah, the ultimate goal is to incorporate them before something happens.
What is one thing that you learned in the past few years about herbalism that totally blew your mind?
Continues to blow my mind every day. So, and it happened with massage, learning about the body, that our body system just is incredible. It's incredible the way that everything is just tied together. And that, so I find the human body fascinating, but then I think the biggest thing, and this isn't even necessarily a knowledge thing, I don't know if it's a spiritual thing, if it's a mental thing, I don't know. But what continues to awe me is that it doesn't matter what is happening with our body, what is off balance, if something is off balance, there is a plant out there, a plant or a tree or, a mushroom that can help it. If it can't heal it, it can at least help us feel better. So just the intertwinedness of ourselves and nature and all of that is it's incredible. And yeah, the more I learn, the more I'm just in awe.
I love it. It really is amazing. So I've always been a tea drinker, but my family is British, so we have always drank just black tea forever. I just drank black tea. And my family puts milk and sugar in it. I don't anymore. I just have the tea. But I've dabbled, and I have an entire cupboard full of different teas. And until you and I spoke or you had spoken last year at the women's retreat here in Minnesota, I didn't really not understand, but I didn't pay attention to all of those benefits that I had in my own cabinet. I just had them because I liked the way they tasted.
Yeah. And that's just the thing. We don't just drink tea for our body. We drink tea because it makes us feel good too, right? It's that warm comfort, especially in these Minnesota winters. I know I drink way more tea. Sorry. I know I drink way more tea in the winter than I do in the summer, because it's also comforting. It's good for the soul.
Mm-hmm. I think I drink tea all year round. And when we're talking about the nutrition, we also talk about hydration. So let's just add that piece in too. We're always told drink half your body weight in water, blah blah blah, which can be hard sometimes. But tea actually can be part of that, correct?
Absolutely, it can be part of that. And actually, so tea, depending on what you have in the tea, if it's increasing circulation, it can be a little bit more hydrating than just plain water too. So yeah, you can count those in your ounces, in your water ounces for sure.
I'm getting my ounces in every day then.
Yay!
So I encourage everyone who's listening to try some of the teas that Erin has mentioned. I mean, some of them are so simple: chamomile, peppermint, lavender. These are all teas that we've seen at the supermarket. But Erin, you mentioned we could also get them in a loose leaf, and that's probably the better of the teas, whether it's bag tea or loose leaf tea. What are some, where can people find some of those?
Sure, sure. So I encourage you also to be very intentional when you're buying your teas. I think it's important. I think it's important that they are organic, because they're soaking in the water and then we're drinking the water. We really don't want any other, sprays or anything in that at all. So I encourage you to find organic. There's a couple websites that I really enjoy. The one is called mountainroseherbs.com. I find that theirs are very good quality. So one thing I want you to pay attention to as well, because you can also get loose leaf teas at your local co-ops, probably in the bulk section. There's a lot of them, but the thing with that, and I have found some great ones at our local co-ops, but just pay attention to the color. So when an herb is dried, it should be very similar to the color that it is when it's alive. So if it's not, then it's probably a little bit older and you're not going to get the health benefits from it that you could. So this mountainroseherbs.com, I have found their quality to be excellent. Another one of my favorites is rosemary'sgarden.com.
Oh, I love it.
Yes, so those are my two favorite places. Those are where I order mine. Even they both offer, mixed teas already, but I will oftentimes order my single teas that I'm going to mix up together from those websites also. Another one, actually, so I might have to spell this out for you, but it's Anima Mundi.
Yes, please spell that.
Okay, let me write it here for Anima Mundi. Okay, so it's ANIMUNDI.
Okay. And we'll put that, and actually, if you would,
I believe that's an anima.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I lost you for a second.
Okay, all right, that's okay. I believe it's animamundi.com. But she has, so those aren't going to be as much of our local herbs, but she's got a lot of herbs that might be from South America, somewhere like there, but the integrity of her product is great. And a lot of it is powdered versus loose leaf, but you're going to find a lot of your different, like ashwagandha, she has turmeric, she has ginger, like those that are really good to add to a smoothie or even in our cooking. She also has some really awesome recipes.
Ooh, I love recipes. And I'll make sure that we have it in the show notes, that all that information will be in the show notes. Erin, how can people, if people have questions, can they connect with you, ask questions? How would they do that?
Absolutely. So I love talking about this stuff, so people can reach out to me anytime. The best way probably is by email. And maybe we can put my email in the notes as well.
Absolutely.
It's RM Massage. You got it? Okay. Yeah, by email is probably the best way to get a hold of me. And I'm happy to answer any questions or just connect.
Fabulous. And if you are local, then you absolutely must schedule an appointment with Erin for the most amazing massage. This is, we talk about whole body. We mentioned this before, and really the massage is where Erin started and has really expanded her experience, and the experience that a client gets is just magnified. So Erin, I love what you're doing. Keep learning, keep teaching, and we will be in touch soon.
Thank you so much, Denise.
Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for listening. This is the Wonder Series, and we're here every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Until next time, I leave you with this: healthy living, happy life. Start wondering, everyone, and start living. See you soon.